Have you ever just stared at a blank email trying to sound professional, but it just comes out sounding so stiff, right? You are definitely not alone. In this explainer, we're going to show you how to write emails that actually get replies. And the secret is pretty simple. Just sound less like a robot and more like, well, you. And that right there is the heart of the problem. It's like the moment we open up Gmail or Outlook, our actual personality just checks out. We get all stiff and formal, and we start using these bizarre phrases we would never, ever say out loud. And what's the result? Our messages get lost, ignored, or just plain misunderstood. So how do we fix this? Well, the good news is you don't need a degree in advanced linguistics. It's really just about unlearning some of those robotic habits and plugging in a simple, really effective framework instead. Okay, so let's break down the anatomy of a truly great email. It's actually a pretty simple blueprint for success. Think of it like this, just 4 simple parts. You've got a friendly greeting, a really concise body, a super clear action, and a professional closing. Let's break down each one, step by step. All right, first up, mastering that first impression. Let's talk about greetings that actually connect with people. Oh man, I hope this email finds you well. We're all so guilty of this one, right? It is the ultimate robot phrase. Instead, try being specific and, genuine. If you just saw them, mention it. If it's a Monday, wish them a good start to the week. It's such a small change, but it builds a real connection. And please, please don't forget the subject line. Think of it as the headline for your email. It needs to be clear and informative. Include the topic and your name so the person on the other end knows what it's about and can prioritize it. You don't want to get overlooked. Now for the main event, the art of the ask. It's time to get to the point and get there fast. So why does being brief matter so much? Well, check this out. Around 40% of all emails are opened on a mobile phone. Just think about that. Your reader is probably on a tiny screen, maybe walking down the street, totally distracted. Gigantic blocks of text, they're just not going to get read. So being brief isn't just polite, it's absolutely essential. So is there a magic number? Kinda. You want to aim for around 80 to 100 words. That's really the sweet spot to keep your reader locked in and to get straight to the point without losing their attention. Just look at the difference here. The wordy email on the left just kind of buries the point in a bunch of fluff. But the concise version on the right, it delivers the exact same information, but it's crystal clear. It's so much faster to read and, more importantly, way easier to act on. So how do you actually do this? It's pretty simple. First, stick to one and only one goal per email. Next, cut out those weak filler words. The ones just, basically, I think. They don't really add anything. And finally, use formatting. Bold and key info or using bullet points makes your main points pop right off the page. Okay, let's move on to the perfect sign-off. This is all about closing with clarity. Every single email that needs a response must have a clear call to action or a CTA. You have to explicitly state what you need, how they can do it, and, this is crucial, by when. Don't ever make your reader guess what you want from them. Let me know what you think. It's so vague, right? It creates work for them. But a clear CTA, like, please provide your feedback in the attached doc by 3 p.m. Friday, is totally different. It answers the what, the where, and the when, which makes it super easy for them to reply. After your CTA, you just need to finish up with a classic professional sign-off. Any of these are polite, totally safe, and they always maintain a professional tone. Okay, ready for a little rapid-fire round? Let's go from good to great with some pro tips to help you avoid a few really common mistakes. First up, uncountable nouns. Words like advice or information don't have a plural form, so you'd ask for some advice, never advices. It's one of those little details that really signals professionalism. Next up, the classic me versus I. Here's the absolute easiest trick in the book. Just remove the other person from the sentence. You'd never say, me am going for coffee. You'd say, I am going for coffee. So when Mary joins you, it's Mary and I. Easy. Now, this one is super common for people whose first language has gendered nouns. In English, inanimate objects like a car, a company, or a project are always it. Using he or she for objects can sound a little bit strange in a professional email. And finally, in a call to action, always use the command form of the verb. It's choose, not the past tense chose. This is a really common typo, but it can make your instructions pretty confusing. And before you even think about hitting send, run through this final checklist. 1. Use a professional email address. 2. Name your attachments clearly. And 3, and I cannot stress this enough, proofread. And then proofread again. So, to recap, a simple structure, a concise message, and a clear call to action. That's what moves you from corporate robot to a confident human communicator who actually gets things done. Look, this isn't just theory. This is a toolkit for action. So my question to you is this. Armed with these new skills, what important conversation could you start today? What project could you move forward right now? Go write that email.